Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to yet another edition of our podcast, A Not So Quiet Place. My name is Pamela Mvuyana, and thank you so much for tuning in, for listening on all our major streaming platforms, and welcome to our new subscribers on YouTube. Great to have you part of the family. As per usual, Angihamba with my co-host, Mr. Mngadi.
What up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the A Not So Quiet Place podcast with Pam and Swundumgate. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for continuously tuning into the podcast, and we truly value your opinions and stuff. So let's keep the conversation going on our comment section. But other than that, the new topic of the week, Pam, please.
Well, our new topic of the week is life after varsity, and we thought it would be great to have a little deep dive into the topic of life after varsity, since we're at a mature-ish age and we're nearly hitting our 30s, and it's like, whoa, where did time go? So without further ado, I'm going to ask the first question, Fundo, which is a reflective one.
Yeah. Go dive right in, right?
In there, like somewhere.
Sure.
Are you where you thought you'd be in life at the age that you're at right now? And if yes, do tell us why. And if no, tell us why as well.
So am I where I thought I would be at 27? No. I don't think I am where I thought I would be at 27, you know? Yeah, I think maybe for our generation, we sort of expected life to like shoot up the roof soon as we left varsity. So honestly, I think the majority of us are not where we saw ourselves being at the age we had after varsity. For me, I'm not where I thought I would be, you know, but I'm enjoying being where I am right now, and I do every now and then reflect upon where would I be right now, and I think I never have like regrets in terms of like maybe I'm at the wrong place. I'm like, okay, after school I went to Joburg for like 2 years to work there. So for me that was quite an experience at first, because it was Joburg. It was a new space, but for me, I liked the idea that I was out of my comfort zone. I wasn't around my parents to sort of like baby me around and stuff. I wasn't around them to ask for help or anything. So it sort of taught me to be independent, to be a man by myself. Not really a man, but to be by myself and be able to take care of myself and look out for myself. So I really enjoyed that experience, and as much as it didn't go further into me staying a bit longer in Joburg, but I was like, I'm actually cool with the experience that I got there. And I was quite happy when I came back to Durban. I didn't have like any regrets. I was like, I put myself out there. I tried. I worked hard. I would say I worked hard and I did my best. And when I felt like it didn't work out, I came back this side and I was like, I'm good. I'm ready to like reset, restart. I think that's the most important part, being able to see once you've hit a wall and be able to back up and be like, oh, okay, wait. Which way should I go from here? So for me, I would say I don't regret where I am right now. I'm at a quite a nice place for myself, I would say. And you?
Well, before I answer my question, I'd actually want to say that I had a conversation with someone that you worked with in Johannesburg. And what they said to me was like, Sfundo's going to make it, not only because of the person he is, but because he's not in it for the money. He's in it for the passion. He's in it because he really wants to do that. And because he also comes from an amazing family, a good structure, good background, he's genuinely going to make it because his heart is in the right place. So that's someone you worked with in Joburg.
That's
so
insane.
If you feel like you hit a brick wall, they saw that and they were like, trust me, they're going to make it. So I just wanted you to know that. That's some confidence,
That's
child.
real firm's my stance, I'll say.
Exactly. That's some confidence, child.
Yeah.
For me, I actually got so emotional when I was going through the questions and whatnot. So I decided to write a note because I knew that if I were to say anything, I'm going to go off on a tangent. So I went back to the time. Remember, there was this note that Frank Ocean wrote on his Facebook celebrating Reddit. Yes. You know that note, right?
Yeah,
celebrating, I think it was the success of Channel Orange or Blonde, something along those lines. And he was speaking to a 25-year-old self or something.
Like a younger self. Before the fame, the album and stuff.
Before the fame. So it's a note quite like that, but not to a younger self. So it's not even that deep, y'all. So I actually said, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was, and I'm so grateful for that. There was a time when nothing was going right in my life and everything was in a loop, and I felt like a tortured soul. But now I'm working through that and I'm thankful. I can now actually receive and not fumble any bag because I've had opportunities and I've had bags before that I've fumbled because my posture wasn't at a great place and I wasn't aligned at all. Had I carried on the way I'd carried on, I would have been a rolling stone and I don't know where I'd be today. So I am truly, truly grateful for it all and I'm thankful that I'm here today.
Wow.
So basically, that's what I would say, that yes, I'm not where I thought I'd be, but I'm grateful for where I am right now, because looking back to where I came from, I'd always be like, people would see me and think I'm such a happy person. Deep down inside, I was depressed most of the time. I was fighting demons, fighting battles, tortured, and I've always been a lucky person. I'm not even gonna lie. I've always had so many opportunities, and I'd always had things work out in my favor, and I'd think, hey, why me? And I would get those things, but I wouldn't know how to handle them because I hadn't dealt with a lot of stuff that was inside of me, internal things, and a lot of things kept on happening, trying to teach me lessons that I didn't want to learn, and then it just kept on happening in different forms, in different places, and different people.
So that's why you're stuck in that loop.
Yes, so that's what happened. So now with everything and where I am mentally, spiritually, physically, every single kidney you can get, I'm not where I'm at. Yes, I can do so much better, but now I have the tools and the resources, and I've grown, and I can actually sit and reflect and be like, okay, it's on you. It's game time now.
So now you would say that you are at peace with where you are right now, even though it's not where you want to be, but you are at peace with where you are right now.
I have consistent peace, yes, because I'm a human. I get angry, of course.
Trust me.
But I have consistent peace. And that's something I didn't have before, to be quite honest. I wouldn't go a week without feeling depressed about something. So I'm happy because I have consistent peace, and it's taken every L to get to where I'm at.
That's good.
So
That's
good. I won't cry.
Really.
So with you saying that you went to Johannesburg and you felt like you hit a brick wall, etc., etc., have you forgiven yourself for not achieving goals that you said you'd achieve for your life at a certain time frame? This is a very emotional podcast. I didn't think it was gonna be.
Yeah, you did it, babe. You did it. Have I forgiven myself? I would say I am. I think it takes a lot out of you to be at peace with where you are, but also being able to look and revise and be like, wait, were those goals unrealistic enough for me to achieve at that age? Or was I, or did I have the mind and the expectation of someone who just came out of varsity and thought that life would be kind, you know? Maybe, I think because of that, I've been able to reflect and be like, maybe I was unrealistic with the time frame. So I think the most important goals right now that I want for myself, are still achievable. It's just that maybe at that time I was unrealistic with the time frame, but now I feel like I'm more focused. I'm more attentive to myself. You know,
well, the kinks have been ironed out.
I think the kinks have been ironed out, and I'm able to now to just look at life and be like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Which goals still feel like they are mine? Because sometimes, especially when you get out of varsity, the majority, some of the goals that we have are not really ours.
True.
They are our peers and stuff. So
True.
Their influence still runs deep until we actually see the real world and be like, okay, now I kind of understand my priorities, and I also understand where my trajectory is at, you know, where I've set my targets at, and you sort of like focus more, you know. It narrows everything down, you know. So you have to, I think after varsity you have to keep an open mind for you to actually be able to do better for yourself.
True. Or else you're gonna hate yourself for life.
It's not gonna be
You're gonna
nice.
have to accept the L's and take the lessons and move. But don't stay in them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think taking the L's, that's the most important one. Learning to take them and how to better yourself after you took an L. So where to go from here, you know? You hit the bottom, so where to go from here? I think that's the most important part. And you?
True. And it's funny that you say that you had to be away from everything, because look what God did. Removed you from everything, put you in Joburg and said, okay, Baba,
Let's see how you are.
I
think also because I grew up with my dad, and he always like fostered the idea of being independent, being able to stand for myself. I think that fully kicked in when I went to Joburg, and I was like, okay, cool. You know,
big city life.
It naturally kicked in. Yeah. That's what I would say.
For me, having forgiven myself for not achieving goals that I set at a certain time frame, I also wrote a note, but I'm not gonna read it because I realized when I was looking at these questions that, hey, this is way too emotional. I might cry.
Maybe you're creating a journal for yourself.
Maybe, because I was like, this is way too emotional.
You didn't realize. That's
exactly.
good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to write things down because.
So Pam had an introspection while thinking about the topic. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Because when we were putting these questions together, I was like, I need to just answer my questions.
That's good.
When I started reading them, I was like, okay, this is
they really hit home.
I have forgiven myself a lot, and before I had so much torment internally because I had not forgiven myself. Growing up being the star student, I mean, not to toot my own horn, I was always smart, always an overachiever. If I played sports, I'm gonna be the best. If academics, I'm gonna be the best, and everybody had expected that of me, and then I internalized that I am the best, okay?
Yeah.
So I expected so much more of myself. But then growing up and being older, I realized that I was competing also with people, as you said, who had backup plans. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have financial help. I didn't have any of that. I literally had to stand on my own 2 feet and make things work from the time I left, like, matric.
Yeah.
Because once again, if you don't have, like, parents, that foundation is not there. So you have to be on your own 2 feet, and you can rely on other people to a certain extent, which is understandable. Like, it's understandable. I understand the psyche of everything and how other people are going through their own things, so they couldn't really like take me in like that. So I was competing with people who could have easily just called mom if things weren't working out, or called dad if things weren't working out. I, on the other hand, if things aren't working out, things aren't working out. That's just it.
Yeah.
So I was competing a lot with that, and I had to like pave my own way with everything. And I'm not using this as an excuse because, as I've said, there are plenty of opportunities have been given to me that I don't even know why I got those opportunities. I've been so lucky. I don't know why. I mean, even in high school, I was on a full bursary. I wasn't, yes, I was doing well academically, but not that well, guys. Not that well. But I was on a full bursary and my high school was expensive. And I was like, why me? And I wasn't the most well-behaved student. I was a freedom fighter. I would fight the institution. I would fight everyone, the structure, everything. I'd be like, no, you can't tell us that.
The tyrant.
I wasn't even the tyrant. I was, you know, when you
were fighting the tyrant.
Yes, I was fighting the tyrants, fighting the institution, fighting the law. No, this is wrong.
This is wrong. Yeah.
But I still stayed on the bursary, so that was always crazy to me. But long story short, I realized as I wasn't forgiving myself that a lot of things, it was me holding me back, not anybody else. Yes, a lot of things have played into, but when I really sat down with myself and I really got to a place where I learned to introspect and look at things where I'm not looking at through the eyes of the ego that, oh my gosh, so-and-so should have taken care of me. Oh my God. I got outside of myself, looked at everything, and looked at all the dynamics that were at play. And I looked at the one common denominator here, which is me. So I have to take action. I have to take accountability, which was not great. I had to be honest, brutally honest with myself to say, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is you, not them, that is you. And I had to take action after that, because it's all great to take accountability and be honest and introspect, but then what you gonna do? Because if you don't know what you're gonna do, you're going to repeat the same mistakes again. So I have forgiven myself, and this life thing doesn't have a manual. So I've forgiven myself, and I'm just learning to be better each and every single day. So with that being said, how was the adjustments? Because you went to go work in Joburg, right? So fine, you're adjusting to a new city. Now, not only adjusting to a new city, but you're adjusting from college to corporate. You being in a business space or working environment. Have you always been professional in those environments, or do you think you were prepared or not prepared enough to be a working professional now? You're no longer a kid. You're no longer just jolling after school. You're a working professional.
I would say I was prepared to a certain extent, because when you think about the industry that I studied and worked on after school,
which is video technology, film and television.
So I would say with especially like the internship that you have to do before you even go to the working world, it really prepares you. And for me, I was lucky enough to work on a few television stuff before even actually going into like a work environment full time, So I think from there I adjusted. I realized how to apply certain things that I've learned in school. But the difference was the people, the way they treat you there. It's very different compared to how you get treated at school.
Of course.
No one's babying you outside there. You have to be accountable in terms of how you work. You have to be accountable with everything that you do, and not make excuses. I was able to defend myself when things go wrong, but then the guy, the camera operator that I was working with at that time was able to tell me yo, hey bruh, you gotta stop having a mouth and actually work. You have to stop defending everything and be able to apply what is being told to you to do, So that's one thing that was the biggest lesson for me, was learning to be accountable for every action. If I mess up, I mess up. You take accountability for that. You don't try to make an excuse as to why did you mess up. It's all about how do I bring a solution to the situation, because I'm already in that situation at that moment. So for me, the adjustment once I was in Joburg, the different thing was traveling a lot. I would say that was a bit tiring sometimes, but quite enjoyable especially when you just got out of school. You don't want to be confined in a space of an office.
True.
So I think I enjoyed that part because the work always pushed me to be outside and not be stuck in an office in front of a computer the whole day. So yeah, I would say that's it for me. I don't think it was it taught me lessons that were outside of what I had learned in school, because it's such a practical thing, my job. I think that's the difference. Yeah. I'm not, and you?
With me, it's actually been different, because at that time
you wanted to be more of a writer, didn't you?
Yes, I wanted to be more of a writer. I wasn't still am not for the industry.
Yeah.
Will never be for the industry. And at that time, I was a very... What's the word for spoiled? Someone who just thinks things are gonna work for them. I don't know. There's a word. There's that word.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was also severely depressed and I didn't know it. And even more depressed that I didn't like the industry. Sometimes I would find myself not pulling my weight and thinking that everything's just going to go my way, because that's how I've always lived, guys. Things have been going my way because I would easily pull up I have no parents card in high school.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, we're so sorry. At home, fine. I'm not going to say I was always treated like 100% right, but when I felt like, okay, I'm losing this battle, is it because I don't have parents? And it's like, you know.
That card, yeah,
so I thought that mentality, I can take it to work. Nobody cares. Pull any card you want. Be depressed to back and forth. We need the work. And I was very lucky that I interned with someone who could see that I'm not for this, and that Jen tried. He tried so hard to the point where he just said, you know what? I'll sign off your hours. This is not working. You need to go home, sit with yourself, really think about what you want. You're really talented in 1, 2, 3, 4, because I've seen it. When I want you to write things, when I want you to produce things, when I want you to create content, when I want you to manage the artists, because he was managing artists and all that type of stuff, you're great. But when I say hold the camera, Pam, you fall apart. What's going on? And I say edit, Pam, dololo. What's going on? And I'd cry. Oh, there's a lot. So I did like professionalism at that time. I like professionalism at that time, and also I haven't only worked in the film industry. I've worked in retail, I've worked in promotions, I've worked in admin, I've worked across different sectors. And now that I'm older, I can now properly distinguish between I am working and taking things personally, and it's taking a lot of growth and a lot of mentorship per se from people that I've found along the way in work, in the working environment, to be like, okay, you know what, I see something in you, but that we need to fix 1, 2, 3, 4 to shape you up, because listen, this is not going to get you anywhere. You get to work on time, you leave on time, you hand in your projects, you do this, you do that. So it's been a huge jump for me. A huge jump. To the point where I was like, am I made for work? Damn, my dad didn't work for people. He worked for himself. Can't I just be like my dad? You know? So and even to the point where I remember, because when I stepped out and I looked at how I was after varsity, because I went to varsity, then I went to college to do PR, I realized that there's such a huge gap between some children who went to these schools and children who went to different schools. When they jump into the workplace, they find it hard to manage because of a language barrier, professionalism, certain ethics that they don't know, don't work in this environment. You have to be a certain way or speak in a certain way. So we even started a work readiness program when I was at college that worked out so well. We're teaching all the final year students how to be prepared for work, and we worked with this other HR company, and they came in and we taught people how to even have proper dialects, how to conversate in the working environment. So that was great. So I used that as a 360. But guys, before you go into a working industry, please, even if you can watch YouTube videos or whatever the case may be, prepare yourself. It's not going to be like anything, and maybe at home they haven't given you the tools to say, Imsebenzin, this is how you work. You handle yourself, because your reputation, your image, that's your currency.
Yeah, that's true.
And your work outputs, that's your currency. So for the last one, what would you tell an 18-year-old self now, given the chance that you could go back?
Well, I wasn't 18 when I got to varsity. So,
no, but even before varsity, because you're 18, you're like, I can conquer the world. 18, 19, 17.
Yeah. For me, I would tell him to focus on what is it that makes him, that he likes doing. It's like, I feel like as much as we don't see it, but we like doing what really speaks to us. That's the thing, because sometimes that differs in terms of what we like to doing and what we like to do with our friends.
And what we think we're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I would say once you really, really develop an introspection to like recognize that I really, really like doing this thing, find out if you can actually withstand the shitty sandwich that comes with it.
True.
That's what
before you monetize it.
Before you monetize it. Understand if you can stay when the weather's not really that good. Can you actually stay there and be there even if it's going very bad? Because once you understand that about yourself, then you can easily make a good career choice. You know, you can easily propel yourself to a bigger career, even in like your late 20s. Your career could pick up in your late 20s, and by your 30s, you are really in a good place. So, for me, if I was still 18, I would truly follow what is it that speaks to my heart the most, more than anything else. I think that will never mislead you. As much like I think we don't really know how to
maybe we don't have the EQ when we're that young.
We don't have the intelligence to actually realize what is it that we want in life. So yeah, I would say just go with the feeling. Go with what is it that truly, really, truly is the knot of your heart.
Amen.
Yeah.
That is actually so profound. What is really truly the knot
the knot
of your heart?
Yeah.
That was profound. That's a gem. I wrote another note because I feared that I was gonna go off on a long tangent. And no, I realized
not drip.
I'm a pretty good writer.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I said, what a ride it's going to be. Ideally, I'd love to go back, but I'm scared that if I change anything, my whole trajectory. Wait, I said, what a ride it's going to be. Ideally, I'd love to go back, but I'm scared that if I did, I'd change my whole trajectory and not live out my purpose and learn all the lessons I'm supposed to learn the way I should. Because I honestly believe that amazing things are on my horizon, and I'm going to live a truly breathtaking life whilst helping other people along the way. Had it not been for the lessons, had it not been for the L's, I wouldn't be here today. I would have been speaking the way I'm speaking and living the way I'm living. So that's what I say to an 18-year-old self.
Sure.
Take those L's, girl. Take them L's. Take them, learn from them.
Taking them L's.
And it's consistent. You know what the thing is? We think L's stop. They don't.
They don't.
You can get as rich as and
still gonna take your L's.
You're still gonna have plenty L's along the way.
Yeah. So guys, that's it from us. Hey, you heard what we have to say about life after varsity. If you are also in that space in time right now, just let us know what life is like for you after varsity, because I'm sure some other people would like to hear what is it that they can expect after varsity. I mean, like, it's nice to hear from like experience of people who are almost as
senior citizens.
Yeah, not really. We're getting there, but we're not there. I think we at the right time of adulthood to be able to help like the others.
Yes.
Before.
Yes.
After
us. God, logo. Y'all heard it.
That one though.
Y'all know what we say. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening. Just let us hear what you have to say in the comment section, and yeah, let's continue this dialogue, guys, as we usually do. Pam?
It's been all good for me. Thank you so much. And if I cried, I'm sorry.
From Sfundo and Pam in a not so quiet place. Cheers, guys.